Hello, welcome to News Now on TV360. I am Fidelia Aguncha. The Nigerian army says its troops have killed 3 Boko Haram insurgents in Borno State, northeast of the country. Army spokesperson Brigadier General Jude Chukwu says insurgents were killed by troops on patrol at Kokawa in Baga local government area of the state. Chukwu says the insurgents were on a looting and extortion spree in the village before they were intercepted by troops of Operation Lafia Adole. He also says the army recovered several items including 3 AK-47 rifles, 2 magazines and 4 rounds of 7.62 mm ammunition from the insurgents. In Abuja, 10 ministers of the Lake Chad Basin countries are meeting for a 3-day conference. The focus of the conference, organized by the Lake Chad Basin Commission, African Union and the United Nations, is to adopt a new strategy to tackle the Boko Haram terrorist sect. Our correspondent Tunji Oye has more.
It's been about 10 years of insurgency by Boko Haram on communities in countries within the Lake Chad Basin. And as a result of this, member states of the Lake Chad Basin met in November 2017 in N'Djamena, Chad, to map out a stabilization strategy for the region. The stabilization strategy has been designed, and here in Abuja, ministers of member states are meeting to adopt the document. It is a 3-day conference that will involve input from development and security experts, the African Union, and the United Nations Development Programme.
The fact that we are having a combined meeting of commissioners of the Lake Chad Basin Commission and the Honorable Ministers of Defense of troop-contributing countries of the multinational Joint Task Force underscores the combined responsibilities before us. Stabilization cannot take place without peace and security. It is therefore not by accident that the first pillar of this strategy is security and human rights pillar, which cuts across all other pillars. The transition from military presence in the affected areas to that of civil police, as well as the roles of the civilian joint task force, are central to the success or otherwise of the strategy.
The solution to the problem of insurgency, of the fight against terrorism and the fight against Boko Haram is multifaceted. We cannot deal with it only on the military, only with military action. So for us, this process is very important, where we look at several pillars. And I want to tell you that the African Union is very, very committed, and that the chairperson is absolutely committed, like I said, as a citizen of the Lake Chad Basin.
It is on record that the basin, which is home to about 40 million inhabitants, cuts across 6 countries. Inhabitants of these countries living in the basin have suffered untold socio-economic and political losses due to the activities of the Boko Haram sect. Lives and properties have also been destroyed in the region by the sect. It is pertinent to note that the massive internal and cross-border displacements engendered by the activities of the sect in the region prompted the African Union Commission and the Lake Chad Basin Commission to develop the stabilization strategy with the aim of bringing lasting peace to the area.
At the end of the conference, a workable stabilization framework is expected to be adopted by member states that will improve the lives of communities affected by Boko Haram insurgency. From Abuja, Sunjoye, TV360 News.
In Lagos, the State Police Command has arrested 57 persons for allegedly engaging in homosexuality. The 57 suspects, all males, were among many others paraded at the headquarters in Ikeja for crimes ranging from armed robbery to courtesan. The Commissioner of Police, Imohimi Edgar, who paraded the suspect, say their action is contrary to Nigerian marriage laws, adding that the suspect would be charged to court after investigations.
Another busy day at the Lagos State Police Command headquarters, Ikeja. In a bid to eliminate every form of crime, the force is parading some suspected lawbreakers for offences ranging from homosexuality, armed robbery to courtesan. The State Police Commissioner Imohimi Edgar begins this briefing by narrating how 57 young men were arrested for alleged homosexuality.
On 26/8/2018, at about 00:30 hours, I instructed DPOs Shasha and Idimu to carry out an operation based on an information received that some youths, males, will be initiated into a gay homosexual club between 0100 hours and 0200 hours at Kelly Ann Hotel Event Center, number 3 to 7 Aderenle Street, Egbeda. We all know that homosexualism is an action contrary to Section 1, Subsection 1 of Same-Sex Marriage Act of 2014. Based on my instruction, the DPO Shasha and DPO Edimu stormed the venue at about 0200 hours. On arrival, young men numbering over 80 were met in a hall, taking different types of drinks, including the banned substance tramadol, shisha laced with substances suspected to be marijuana. As soon as they sighted the police, of course, they ran in different directions. However, the police team were able to arrest 57 of them.
Some of the suspects, however, denied the accusations, arguing that the purported party was not an initiation ceremony.
I can't feel good because number one, I know I'm innocent, and God in heaven sees my heart that searches everyone's heart, knows that I am not gay and I can never be.
I'm not a gay, point of correction. I'm not a gay, and I don't accept someone calling me a gay. There must be, what's the definition of a gay is when you are caught having sexual intercourse with a guy and they didn't cut me. Did they cut me? Ask the policeman, did they cut me? There was no call, there was no evidence. Oh yeah, let's go and read the evidence. All they would do is go and bring condom, and I don't even use it, for crying out loud. So please, they should go and prove it. I was not caught on the act. That is the law, isn't it? That's the law. When you are caught in the act, I'm not caught in any act. I came to perform. It's a crime. So all that stuff are not a crime.
Edgar ends the briefing by explaining how the police arrested some armed robbers and recovered weapons.
If Omotoyosi Bello, female, knew that her neighbor and co-tenant at number 32 at Joseph Street, Ebute Ikorodu, named Sheun Hamid Olayinka, male, alias DJ Shy, is a member of an armed robbery gang, perhaps she might have given him up to the police. But unfortunately for her, the said Sheun, a disc jockey, organized a 3-man robbery gang to attack and rob her of her iPhone valued 150,000 on the 9th of August 2018 at about 8:30 p.m. However, through painstaking investigation, which was carried out by one of the anti-robbery teams of the command, 3 of the robbers who took part in the operation were arrested and the iPhone recovered.
The police chief assured Lagosians that the force will not relent in its fight against crime and implored every member of the public to always cooperate with security officials.
After over a week of deliberation, the National Assembly Joint Committee on Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has approved the 143 billion naira budget for the funding of the 2019 general elections. Chairman of the committee, Suleiman Nazif, announced the approval after an executive session which lasted for about 40 minutes. He, however, added that the committee will reconvene on Tuesday by 1 p.m. for INEC to present their budget of the 143 billion naira as requested by President Buhari. President Buhari had requested that 189.2 billion naira be released to INEC, saying 143.5 billion be released this year and 45.6 billion be released in 2019 for the elections. British Prime Minister Theresa May is preparing to visit Nigeria for the first time. May, who would visit first South Africa on Tuesday, will also visit Nigeria as part of a trade mission aimed at boosting post-Brexit fortunes. The Prime Minister will be accompanied by a 29-strong business delegation. Now, security issues will also feature on her agenda, and she is expected to discuss the threat of Boko Haram in Nigeria. The presidential aspirant has pledged to focus on restructuring if elected as president. McCarthy, who will contest under the platform of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), says restructuring will play a key role in the development of the country. McCarthy also pledged to tackle insecurity, which he says, when addressed, will have a positive effect on other sectors of the economy.
I said when I was chairman of the party that as a party, PDP, we believe in restructuring. That was why when APC on channels denied the need for restructuring, I will immediately follow suit by addressing World Press Conference that PDP will believe in restructuring because that is what will restore Nigeria to the path of greatness, to the path of mutual trust and respect of one another. What steals the limelight when you talk of restructuring is either fiscal, geographical, economic, financial, those kind of restructuring. That what steals the limelight. Devolution of power is part of it. But I have said we forget institutional restructuring. Which institution am I talking about? The security agencies, the armed forces, the paramilitary agencies such as INEC. Why? Because as long as some of these agencies continue to be under control of political leaders, if you disagree with the leader, whether at federal, state, or local government level, this institution will be used against you, thereby suppressing freedom of expression, freedom of association, and all fundamental human rights. Therefore, we have to restructure them.
Imo State Governor Rochas Okorocha has sworn in the newly elected local government chairman in the state. At a swearing-in ceremony, the governor charged the new chairman to ensure that they commit themselves to meaningful projects and programs in their respective communities at the grassroots. The All Progressives Congress won all the 27 chairmanship seats in the state. The party also won 636 councillorship seats out of the 645 wards in the state. Accord Party, COA, and the Young Progressive Party YPP won some of the remaining councillorship positions. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike is currently at loggerheads with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) over plans by the anti-graft agency to probe the account of the state government. The governor is accusing the commission of politically motivated investigations and says his officials will not honor its summons unless it approaches the Court of Appeal to set aside the 2007 judgment barring the commission from investigating the state. Meanwhile, the EFCC has reportedly arrested the managing director of Zenith Bank, Peter Amangbo, over alleged 117 billion naira transactions by the state government in the past 3 years. The anti-graft agency is also seeking to quiz 4 officials of the state who were central to the withdrawals. President Muhammadu Buhari has called on lawyers across the country to sustain the integrity of Nigeria's judicial system. Buhari also urged legal practitioners to ensure they work for the peaceful coexistence of the citizens, especially as the nation prepares for the 2019 general elections. He also asked them to join forces with the government in tackling the security challenges facing the nation, stressing that those practicing the law can only enjoy doing so when the country is at peace.
In the context of opinions and narratives about our past and present political and socio-economic experience, you cannot afford to jettison rational and proper analysis of issues in a matter which builds rather than destroys the nation. I also urge you to work to uphold and improve the sanctity and integrity of our judicial and electoral institutions, which play a fundamental role in the sustenance and growth of our democracy. However, let me remind you all, my dear compatriots, that the law can only be optimally practiced in a Nigeria that is safe, secure, and prosperous. As you go into this annual conference, let me assure you of the resolve of this administration to promote measures that will achieve a vibrant economy under which the practice of law will thrive.
We'll take a short break now and return shortly. To stay with us.
Nigeria yiti gbogbo wa ni. Oh boy, now what for this our obodo Naija o? You no say I fit choose who go rule this our country come 2019.
Who tell you say you get that kind power? Abi you get connection up here?
Shine your eyes. Yes, ke. With my PVC, I get power when no connection fit give anybody.
Okay, the guys, you mean I'm say with only PVC, I fit choose senator, governor, and even president?
With my PVC, I fit vote who I want, how I want it, and when I want it.
Uche dikwano kwa sense dey there. But you mean now?
Yes, ke. Anywhere you dey, whether na for office, for shop, or even if na house, as long as you don't reach 18 years, make una alele go get una PVC because this country now we all know.
This message is powered by Good Governance Ambassador of Nigeria, Gogan.
Welcome back. Annetta Felix is standing by with the latest in business. Hi, Annetta.
Hello, Fidelia.
All right, the latest report from the NBS says Nigeria's GDP is growing, but at a slow rate. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, indeed. Nigeria's gross domestic product GDP has slowed down in the second quarter of 2018, growing by 1.50% year-on-year in real terms to 16.58 trillion naira. The Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, in its new report published on Monday, notes that the 1.50% rise is minus 0.45% slower than 1.95% recorded in the first quarter of 2018. However, on a positive note, the Bureau says growth in the second quarter of 2018 is 0.79% higher, and that's when compared to the second quarter of 2017, which recorded a growth of 0.72% on a quarter-on-quarter basis. The real GDP growth was 2.94%. The Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, CIBN, has re-emphasized the need for the government to create alternative credit schemes that will aid the growth and sustainability of the medium and small-scale enterprises, MSMEs, in Nigeria. The CIBN says the government and other players in the Nigerian economy would be addressing the funding gaps for MSMEs, and that's towards engendering economic growth and development at its annual Banking and Finance Conference in Abuja next month.
The conference for this year is actually looking at one important sector of our economy, which is the most important sector of most economy, which is the one that actually employ a larger percentage of the people in any nation's economy, and which we cannot overemphasize. There's no economy that can grow without the MSMEs, because they are the ones that actually galvanize the wheel of any economy, and they are the ones that employ the larger labor force in any economy. So the choice of the team is predicated on the need to generate new ideas, innovations, and strategies to address the funding gaps for MSMEs towards engendering economic growth and development in the country. We set up a committee which is headed by Mr. Peter Mango, the Group Managing Director CEO of Zenith Bank PLC, and with a lot of experts to assist him, and they have come up with about 4 sub-teams. One of them is MSME financing gap. The second sub-team is understanding emerging disruption in technology and its impact on MSME growth. Number 3, sub-team number 3, harnessing the value potential of MSME in income and empowerment generation. And number 4, MSMEs as an integral part of the economic growth and recovery plan. All of us know that the federal government brought out last year or so, early last year, their EGRP, which the government has been pursuing vigorously. And one of the kernel or one of the plank on which it stands is the issue of MSMEs.
President Muhammadu Buhari will be leading Nigeria's delegation to the forthcoming Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, FOCAC, taking place in Beijing, China in September. Chinese envoy to Nigeria, Zhou Pianjian, disclosed this in Abuja while briefing journalists on the forthcoming summit and the relationship between China and Nigeria. He says President Buhari will take part in key economic and bilateral discussions in China as one of the revered leaders in Africa. He said relations between China and Nigeria has improved tremendously since President Buhari resumed office.
The outcome documents, there are going to be 2. One is a political document. It's the Beijing Declaration toward an even stronger China-Africa community. The political document will set down strategic guidelines for the development of China-Africa relations and reflect the consensus of China and Africa on major issues, including jointly forging an even stronger community with a shared future. And the summit will also review and adopt the other document, the FOCAC Beijing Action Plan, which will lay out new approaches and new deliverables of enhancing win-win cooperation between the 2 sides, with a particular focus on jointly building the Belt and the Road, the AU Agenda 2063, the UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, and will specify plans for future China-Africa cooperation across the board. President Buhari attended the last summit in Johannesburg in 2015, and President Buhari was the first African head of state who visited China after the FOCAC Johannesburg summit. So our 2 sides reached important consensus at the highest levels. And since then, I should say, China and Nigeria cooperation has entered a new phase of rapid development, new stage of rapid development.
Now let's take a look at the stock market report. You're welcome back. The Nigerian Stock Exchange kicked off this week's trading session with a 0.32% decline in the all-share index to close at 35,311.36 basis points. The market capitalization closed at 12.12 million 12.891 trillion naira. And the gainers chart was topped by Total Nigeria PLC, Flour Mills of Nigeria PLC, WAPCO, and of course Nigerian Breweries, and they closed at 181 naira, 23.6 naira, 27 naira, and 100.5 naira respectively. Now looking at the flip side, the losers chart was dominated by Dangote Cement, Unilever, UACN, and Glasgow Smith. They closed at 230 naira, 51 naira, 12 naira, and 15 naira. Moving on to the traders, the top traders table is NACO, Axis Bank, Diamond Bank, and UBA. Moving on, the market summary for today shows that 178.810 million naira, 178.810 million shares was traded at the value of 2.020 billion naira in a total of 2,981 deals. And that has been the stock market report for today. Thanks for watching.
Well, thank you, Annetta. Still to come, Uganda's Member of Parliament Bobi Wine regains freedom, and there seems to be more drama in Nigeria's Football Federation. Do stay tuned.
Corruption not in my country.
Hello? Yeah, I found your wallet in front of a supermarket. Meet me at Apple Junction. Yes, I'll be waiting for you.
Now we find out. Two of us.
Thank you very much, officer. You know, it's surprising that men like you still exist in the police force.
Yes, so...
Oh, yes.
This is just a token of my appreciation.
Oh, no, you don't need to do this. We are only doing our job.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
You're welcome.
Now I know police is really my friend.
Yes.
Friend. Hey. Okay, which came up with this one? I don't understand.
You know your problem. You are greedy. I'm a policeman who is doing his job. All forms of corruption in the force. Not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
A Ugandan court has granted bail to Robert Yagulani, also known as Bobi Wine, and his 12 co-accused colleagues facing treason charges. Gulu High Court Justice Stephen Mubiri on Monday ruled that Bobi Wine did not constitute a flight risk and could keep his passport. The judge also granted bail to new MP-elect Kassiano Wadri and a host of other political activists. Wadri is, however, not allowed to go to his hometown in the next 3 months unless cleared by the court. A United Nations report says top military figures in Myanmar must be investigated for genocide in Rakhine State and crimes against humanity in other areas. The report, based on hundreds of interviews, is the strongest condemnation from the UN so far of violence against Rohingya Muslims. The report also says that the army's tactics are consistently and grossly uneven to actual security threats. At least 700,000 Rohingyans fled violence in Myanmar in the past 12 months. The head of the legal team to Amaju Pinnick and the Nigeria Football Federation, Festus Keyamo, has accused the Minister of Youth and Sports, Solomon Dalong, of falsehood in the lingering NFF crisis. Keyamo says the erroneous report on the facts around the crisis were fueled by an earlier press release by the office of the minister dated July 2nd. He says it was thus necessary to put the record straight, as many now hold the opinion that the Nigerian government is backing an illegality in publicly affirming their recognition for Pinnick. This is in response to the threat by FIFA to suspend Nigeria if the country fails to cede leadership of the NFF to Pinnick as president and Mohamed Sanusi as secretary. Manchester United have been handed a huge boost ahead of Monday's Premier League game against Tottenham, with 4 senior players who missed the defeat at Brighton all returning to the squad. Antonio Valencia, Nemanja Matic, Ander Herrera and Alexis Sanchez were all absent for United's trip to the South Coast 8 days ago, but were pictured arriving at the Lowry Hotel ahead of their match against the North London club. Valencia, Matic and Herrera are all yet to feature this season, while Sanchez did play in the opening day win against Leicester before picking up an injury in training that ruled him out of the game against Brighton. Manchester United will close the gap at the top of the Premier League table to 3 points with a win over Tottenham, who are yet to lose a single game this season. Well, that is on News Now. You can watch some of our other programs on our website at www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also download our app on Play Store. It is TV360 Nigeria, and you can watch us on Facebook at facebook.com/TV360online. You can also follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/TV360 Nigeria, and we are live on YouTube at youtube.com/TV360 Nigeria. We are also on Google+, and our handle is TV360 Nigeria. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.